So there's been some really interesting developments recently in the EV market. Apple recently announced that they are killing their car project. Tesla just missed earnings. Rivian stock has been down. There's a lot of EV inventory sitting on dealer lots. And what seemed like an inevitable trend towards an EV transition feels like it's hit a speed bump. There are tons of EVs on the road. I see them all over in LA. But when I talk to people recently who are thinking about getting their first EV, there's a lot of reservations around, is the technology really ready? Will I be able to get to where I want to go? There's range anxiety. There's anxiety about figuring out whether or not they have the room in their garage to just set up an EV charging station and how much everything is going to cost. And so I think an interesting question to dig into is, why have we hit the speed bump in the EV market today? And one of the frameworks that occurred to me as I was thinking through this is Onkali Kahaba has this framework called the adjacent user theory, where he talks about the fact that products generally find product market fit with a core user. That core user is someone for whom the product works really, really well. And they grow to a point where they've exhausted that base of core users. And then you move on to an adjacent user, sort of the next user in terms of the concentric circles of people that your product could really help. And when you move into serving that adjacent user, the user needs change. And oftentimes product market fit that felt really tight can loosen. And it could be that right now within the EV market, we're actually at that point where there is an adjacent user that we're now moving into, people that were reluctant to be first adopters of EVs and have different needs than the people that adopted EVs. The early adopters of EVs were very environmentally conscious. To some extent, they were trend conscious. They were generally higher earning because the cars are expensive, generally lived in urban or suburban areas where they had shorter commutes. And now as we think about EVs growing to the rest of the US market, people have pretty different needs when they're living in different areas. They may need hauling capacity. They may not have EV charging networks near them. They may not have the ability to afford EVs at the current price points that they're at. So I think interesting question for us to tee up and dig into and understand is, why is the EV market hitting a hiccup right now when all of the thinking, I think, up until this year was that EVs were just going to continue to increase and increase in terms of adoption?
Yeah.